Hi everyone, welcome to this special chat with Patrick Mullins. He's about to say obrigado to his homeland, to going to the country of Pastel Donata and Franceschina, but he's kindly taken the time to take 5 minutes out of his schedule to look back and reflect on an amazing season for Team Mullins, which has been very much capped by the results of the Timeform Awards. The first edition of the Timeform Jumps Awards for the season just gone. And it's fair to say that Mullins' domination throughout the jump season has very much carried over. Patrick, I'm sure you weren't surprised to see the names of so many of your promising and established horses, but I'm sure there must be an element of satisfaction there.
Oh, without doubt. I said at the start of the season that I thought we might have our best team ever. Very much looked the perfect storm from what we've invested in the last couple of years through the horses that are proven already. And but that doesn't guarantee anything. You look at Energamine getting hurt, Alaho getting hurt. They still have to go out and do it and race and put into performances. And with Gallop and the Champs Statement, that's what they did.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing, though. They often say, don't these award ceremonies, if it's the Oscars or the BAFTAs, the ones that are voted for by your peers being the most significant. Now, the Horse of the Year, the most prestigious award in the Timeform Awards categories, was voted for largely by Timeform staff. Now, it was a 1-2 for you, Galopin de Champs over State Man. Do you agree with that? And if not, what was your 1-2 have been?
Look, I think it's very hard not to agree with it. Look, State Man is an incredible racehorse, and I think, that he probably is even better than the credit he's given for, but he's Roy Keane's postman. He just does his job, turns up, goes home, no fuss. So look, I think Gallop de Champs was the horse to put in the extraordinary performances. I mean, his Saddles Chase win, his Gold Cup win. I think he deserved to be Horse of the Year. He's turned up at every dog fight. He hasn't won all of them, but he's turned up. He's ran well, and he put in some huge performances. So it's a great honor for him to be rated the top horse.
Yeah, I know it's not the done thing nowadays because trainers can be very selective and pick those battles, but he has raced regularly. I always feel from our perspective, his popularity grows as a result of the fact that he's taken a defeat or two along the way.
Well, that's it. I mean, I always look back at Caudo Star, and he didn't win every time, but it was actually, and even with Hurricane Fly, it's oftentimes those horses, and even Faugheen, when they get beat and come back, that's no one really likes a flawless champion. They like to see a champion who falls and gets back up off the canvas, and that's what he's done.
Yeah, no mean feat. Likewise, that Saddles Chase performance, Timeform rated it the premier performance of the season, a 181 figure, which is really rarefied air. Would you put that ahead of his Gold Cup performance, even though maybe the race isn't quite so prestigious?
Well, look, I mean, I think you have to. I mean, he beat the same horse by 3 times the distance. Now, look, was there an advantage of being wide on the chase track that day? Possibly, but not definitely. But I just know watching the race, it was properly awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping. Like Caudo Star's King George win when he won by half the track. I think that'll be Gallop de Champs' signature performance of his career. I think it'll be very hard to top it. And obviously, every race has its name, but I think a race is only what it is on the day, and that race on the day had a big field, a lot of depth, and he just blew it apart.
Yeah, staggering, wasn't it? And also pretty staggering, Patrick, has been in a season of real dominance amongst the novices, hurdles and chases. The fact that Ballyburn has managed to separate himself from the pack. He's Timeform's winner of the Top Novice Hurdler Award. That's probably no surprise, but more so thinking from historical comparison, it's a race that Gallagher's, the old Ballymore that you've won a few times. How would he compare with the likes of, say, Impere Pass, Sir Gerhard, even Faugheen, one of your old favourites?
Yeah, look, it's for me, Ballyburn has potential to be every bit as good as any of them. But it's never easy to transfer from being a top novice to a top open horse. Sir Gerhard probably didn't quite make the jump. Imperi Pass did win the entry hurdle, but maybe hasn't been as impressive as he looked in his novice years. When Faugheen went and did it, and I'd like to think Ballyburn definitely has potential to make that jump into open company and be hugely competitive wherever he goes. I think probably the Gallagher this year didn't turn out to be the overly strongest race. I'm not sure the Predators Gold ran his race. I don't think Atlantique ran his race. But you know, Ballyburn's form with Slate Steel and Dancing City et al. As I said when I got off him in his bumper, he has that sixth gear, and he just has that little bit of wow factor.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the way his form was working out, and I suppose that goes in the novice chase division as well. Gaelic Warrior Timeform's winner of the top novice chaser award. Now he wasn't blemish free. I'm sure again that will sort of enamor him even more to the general public, and maybe less so in the yard if he does have the odd off day. But he was pretty good, to say the least, at Cheltenham in the Arkle. And the fact he's beating Elite Thomas, who by beating him is almost boosting his form. Is he, with a direct line to El Fabiolo, of course, is Gaelic Warrior potentially top class open to Myler as well?
Look, I think Gaelic Warrior has just an enormous engine, and like you said, he is a bit of a flawed genius. He has his quirks. He's obviously won the Arkle very impressively, but he's also won a 3 mile. He's also won a 3 mile grade 1 as a novice hurdler. So, yeah, look, I think he needs a strong gallop and maybe soft ground to be at his best over 2 miles. You know, is he going to be a Tingle pre-course? Is he going to be a King George horse? All those options are open. I mean, actually nowadays, I think probably the Savills and the John Durkin are probably more competitive races, but might not have the prestige. So he's got the potential to go anywhere, 2 miles or 3 miles. And he just might be the most exciting horse in training.
Is it slightly more cut and dried, though, when it comes to transitioning to open company, that in fact to file your staying star in the novice chase division, that he is a Gold Cup horse in waiting?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's worth coming back to the match race that happened at DRF with Gaelic Warrior and Back to File. And I know at the time there's a bit of moaning about it, but for me, I mean, a top quality match. I mean, it's so rare. For in Ireland we had Bookhouse and Dawn Run, which was the champion hurdle, champion chase winner, and the Gold Cup winner taking one to run. And while the race evaporated on the day, I mean, how much would people pay to see that race now? So look, Back to File, he's not slow. I think they went to the ferocious scout that day. He was well within himself. But for me, what he was doing as a bumper horse blew me away, because he's not a sharp, small, quick type. He looks like if you could paint a Gold Cup horse, that's what he is. Now he doesn't have a whole pile of experience over fences or jumping, but the Gold Cup is where we think he can end up. And for me, he looks Galopin Des Champs' the biggest pretender to Galopin Des Champs' crown.
Well, before you get called to the gate at Dublin, just a few wrap-up questions, really. You can answer them all as one if you like, Patrick. Now, obviously, nearly everything was rosy. Are there any from last season who maybe didn't live up to your expectations, who you think can maybe make up for lost time in the next term? And to a similar line of thinking, which grade 1 winner of last season did surprise you?
Yeah, 2 horses were connected. Look, Casa Vega was the biggest disappointment of the season. I mean, I rode him work a few times this season, and he just blew me away. He just gives you such a feel, and he never reproduced it on the track. Look, personally, I think he didn't love fences, and I think that the more he went jumping them, the less he loved them. So for me, I wonder, could he be a big bucks type? Could he go back to the world hurdle? But Willie being Willie, he'll probably win a Gold Cup with him. Yeah, he was the biggest disappointment, and I still haven't given up on him. So look, I'll follow him over the cliff. And then the horse that surprised us the most, I think, had to be Ilete Thomas. Look, as a novice hurdler, obviously he won the grade 1, but that was the day that Casa Vega blew out. And he didn't look like a chaser. He's short. He's not big. He's very narrow. But it has without doubt improved him. He's settled better. He enjoys it. He's tough. Now he really did dance every dance, and he seemed to improve through the season. One at DRF. Obviously, he had 2 jumping errors in the Arkle. He had 1 jockey error at Limerick at Christmas. But
Speaking of
then
surprises.
but then to come out in Atrium Punchdown and do what he did over different trips, I think he's the horse that's probably surprised us the most. But he's a real fan favorite. You know, he's an underdog who just who knows where he could end up.
Yeah, real street fighter, isn't he? Physically, as you say, you won't have him as a grade one chaser, but he makes up for it with heart and a turn of pace. And on a more sort of more emotional level, which was and this is the final question, I promise, Patrick, which one provided you with the most satisfaction? Now that could be a 120 rated horse, it could be a 180 rated horse like Galopin de Chance, but was there one day, whether you were riding or otherwise, where you thought, yeah, this was a special moment?
Yeah, look, the day that stands out for me, which is a bit random, was Baby Kate winning in Cheltenham in November. I was actually suspended, so I couldn't ride her. So Brian Hayes, my landlord, rode her, but she's a mare that I sourced for a bunch of my friends, and we watched it in the stands together. And you know, it's a different buzz riding a winner and being amongst the crowd and cheering one home. I saw the enjoyment that my friends got out of that. And obviously, I got a great buzz out of Brian riding winner in Cheltenham as well. And I'm sort of involved with her at home and with sourcing her. So that was a day that, even though I missed out on actually riding her, it was a very different buzz. But Baby Kate winning the bumper in Cheltenham November is the day that stood out for me this season.
Yeah, well, I've been done at short odds there. I thought you might go for your father's 100th winner with you steering it in the champion bumper, but we won't keep you any longer, Patrick. That's a wrap on the Timeform Awards for the season just gone, 23-24. Thanks for all your time throughout the season and keep up the good work. It sounds rather trite, but if you do carry it on, Patrick, the rest might as well not bother.
Well, we'll do our best. We'll do our best. So it's been a pleasure, Dan. I'm looking forward to next week.